Hello, everyone. This is Frank with Teaching University, and in this lecture today, we're going to be discussing how to bring your dreams into reality. And we all have desires and goals and things that we would like to accomplish. And what creates so much frustration and anxiety and fear and these negative mental states is this separation that we feel between us and our desires. And I think one of the underlying themes of our lecture today is how we can bridge that gap from where we are to where we want to be, where we no longer have to wait to feel joyous and abundant, where we can start feeling that way right now by simply changing our perceptions and thoughts and thought processes that can help propel us to where we want to be, where we can achieve our ambitions and goals with less effort in a state of flow and bliss, where it seems like life just reveals itself to us in a much more positive way, or how the universe seems to smile upon us in moving towards where we want to go. So I want to start with a quote from Shakti Gawain from her book Creative Visualization. Now, the bulk of this lecture is going to be discussing the Master Key System by Charles F. Hennell, but I really like Shakti's work. In her quote from the book Creative Visualization, she says that we have to understand in a deep way that having what we truly want in life contributes to the general state of human happiness and supports others in creating more happiness for themselves. So I think there is a subconscious feeling or belief that many of us have where attempting to achieve a particular goal, perhaps even a materialistic goal, can be in a way selfish or demeaning, or it actually is harmful to us and people around us. But in fact, the opposite is true. If we are to, as Shakti says, create human happiness for others and make the world a better place, it is essential then that we pursue our own goals and ambitions. Because in this pursuit, the outcome is the person that we've always wanted to be, which is our authentic selves. The problem becomes then when we become enslaved to our circumstances, where we're only going to be happy if we achieve a particular outcome. The difference here is that when we no longer are enslaved by our circumstances and live in the present moment now and acknowledge and assume that creation is already done, that what we want is already here in the present moment, and all we have to do is observe it and change our perception of our reality to acknowledging that there's a lot more possibility and potential than what's underneath the surface of our senses. We can see then that there's a lot more to life than meets the eye. So it's important then that in manifesting our desires, to bring our dreams to reality, which is the big underlying theme of this lecture, then it's important to understand that in pursuing our dreams, we actually can contribute to human happiness and the well-being of others as well. And I think this can be life-changing because once we see then that pursuing our ambitions can help others, it gives us the inspiration and motivation to move forward and propel ourselves towards a better life. What can be more empowering than that? So to quote Charles F. Hennell from the Master Key System, he says that whatever you desire for yourself, affirm it for others, and it will help you both. We reap what we sow. If we send out thoughts of love and health, they return to us like bread cast upon the waters. But if we send out thoughts of fear, worry, jealousy, anger, hate, etc., we will reap the result in our own lives. So what Hennell is saying when he says that we reap what we sow, what he means is that whatever we impress on the subconscious, as I said before, the subconscious has to express itself in some way. So if we indulge in negative emotions or thoughts or ideas, that expresses itself through us through frustration, anxiety, fear, anger, jealousy, etc. So we can see then that when we reap negative thoughts and self-limiting beliefs, that will have to express itself in some way. That's through thoughts of fear, worry, jealousy, anger, hate, etc. But when we indulge and reap empowering affirmations and ideas, such as I have the ability to help others and earn a great living doing it. I am in wonderful relationships that inspire me and whom I can inspire others, so on and so forth. So we see that when we indulge in more positive affirmations and beliefs, even if we don't subconsciously believe them at first, we do it enough times, we can then indulge in more empowering feelings and emotions. To quote Neville, that feeling is the secret. We feel the wish fulfilled. And when we play around with this, a concept called combinatory play, where subconsciously we play around with underlying ideas that can create something new. Playing around with new possibilities of the desires that we want to bring forth without worrying about how it's going to be brought forth into our lives. Over time, then, this can help reshape our personality in a more empowering way. And as Joe Dispenza says, you change your personality, you change your personal reality. So we reap what we sow. And if we impress on the subconscious what we don't want, we will continue to only have more of what we don't want in our lives. Once again, to quote Hanal, he says that then comes a process of visualization. You must see the picture more and more complete, see the detail, and as the details begin to unfold, the ways and means for bringing it into manifestation will develop. One thing will lead to another. Thought will lead to action. Action will develop methods. Methods will develop friends. And friends will bring about circumstances. And finally, the third step, or materialization, will have been accomplished. I used this quote from the Master Key System in one of my previous lectures, but I love the quote because it's so true. The process of visualization, by feeling the wish fulfilled, it's seeing what we want in our mental studio with as much detail as possible. Say, for example, you want a particular job. See and visualize what you want in this job, the kind of people you want to work with, the money you want to make, the services that you want to provide, the kind of hours that you want to work, the places that you want to travel to. Perhaps you want a job where you can travel more, or maybe you want a job where you can work more from home. The sky's the limit here. Use your imagination and visualize what it is that you want. You can also visualize the kind of romantic partner you would like to have. Who is this person? What's their personality like? What do they look like? What do they like to do? Do they share the same beliefs as you do? So on and so forth. This is a fun exercise. Play around with this. Meditate on this and see the wish fulfilled and visualize what it is that you want. And by doing this enough times, visualizing what you want and then just going about your day, not worrying about how this desire is going to come about. Synchronicities, new opportunities, relationships, friends, and circumstances will reveal themselves to you that will lead to the wish being fulfilled in your external environment. It all starts with what's going on within your own mental studio, what's going on within your own mind. And visualizing and seeing what it is that you want, even though there's nothing in your external environment to validate that what you want is possible. That is why it is so important to walk in faith, to believe that what you want will emerge, will be brought forth into your life, and that it is already done. What you want is already here. And this is incredibly empowering and helps you become less attached to a particular outcome. Because after all, the reason why we want to accomplish a particular goal is because of the state it puts us in, because of how it makes us feel. So why wait to accomplish something when you can feel empowered, loved, abundant, happy, euphoric, etc. right now? This takes some work, but it is definitely doable, as we can see here in Hanal's work in the Master Key System. So Hanal says that nature compels us all to move through life. We cannot remain stationary however much we wished. Every right-thinking person wants not merely to move through life like a sound-producing, permeating plant, but to develop, to improve, and to continue the development mentally to the close of physical life. This development can occur only through the improvement of the quality of individual thought and the ideals, actions, and conditions that arise as a consequence. Hence, a study of the creative processes of thought and how to apply them is of supreme importance to each one of us. This knowledge is the means whereby the volition of human life on earth may be hastened and uplifted in the process. Humanity ardently seeks the truth and explores every avenue of it. What this quote reminds me of is the concept of observation, observing our circumstances and observing our results. The reason why we're not getting the results that we want, perhaps, is because we are not self-aware. We simply react to our environment rather than taking a step back and analyzing, or at least becoming aware and self-conscious of our thoughts. and the kind of results they are producing. So there's a time to act on instinct, which is crucial, but it's also important then to observe and not judge ourselves whenever we're having a negative emotion. If we're feeling frustrated, angry, or having a mental relapse where we go back to some negative behaviors, that's okay. Accept it for what it is. If we don't accept it and try to fight it, we only give it more energy. So just accept it for what it is, and then pivot and move to better horizons. Visualize then a more desirable future, and not worry about how it's going to be brought forth. A great exercise then is to imagine that you're walking into your more desirable future right now. You can literally get up from your chair, wherever you are, and imagine just walking into this more desirable future or state. And observe how you feel. Observe the kind of results that you see in your life. But it's important to remember that life is not like a cell phone where automatically what you think about is going to pop in your reality. It doesn't work like that. But by making the concerted effort to change and to focus on what you want, doing this enough times, eventually life reveals itself to you where these new synchronies and opportunities occur. And we begin to see that there's a lot more to life than what you see at face value, and that there are things behind the scenes that are moving to help you to get what you want. This infinite intelligence that, though invisible to the naked eye, is all around us and is within ourselves. And when we communicate with it and become aware of it and can impress upon it our desires, it's just a matter of time before this intelligence expresses itself by bringing forth our desires into our lives. So then the principle which gives the thought of the dynamic power to correlate with its object, and therefore to master every adverse human experience, is the law of attraction, which is another name for love. This is an eternal and fundamental principle inherent in all things, in every system of philosophy, in every religion, in every science. There is no getting away from the law of love. It is feeling that imparts vitality to thought. Feeling is desire, and desire is love. Thought impregnated with love becomes invincible. Let's go through this again, especially the bottom part of this quote. There's no getting away from the law of love. It is the feeling that imparts vitality to thought. Feeling is desire, and desire is love. So what is the feeling that we want to experience? Is the most desirable feeling. And that feeling is love. When we love ourselves, when we love what we do, when we love life, when we love even our weaknesses and the challenges that we experience, our challenges seem to fall by the wayside. They no longer have any power over us. Our circumstances no longer have any power over us. And we begin to see that life becomes much more exciting, becomes filled with possibility and new experiences. When we feel the wish fulfilled, when we try not to intellectualize this process and feel as if what we want is here, when we love every bit about ourselves and our lives and all the good, the bad, and the ugly of our current circumstances, then that's when change really occurs. And we don't force this consciously. It's through feeling that is the best way to communicate with this infinite intelligence. And there's a lot of terms for infinite intelligence. We call it God, energy, the universe, etc. A lot of terms to describe this. But there is an intelligence that if we impregnate it or impress upon it our desires, this intelligence that encompasses love and abundance, we truly become invincible. And no matter what is happening outside of us, we begin to see that life becomes so much more enjoyable and so much filled with possibility. We begin to see then and observe our reality shift to our liking or to more desirable circumstances. So to revisit the creative visualization by Shakti Gawain, she says that every moment of your life is infinitely creative and the universe is endlessly bountiful. Just put forth a clear enough request and everything your heart truly desires must come to you. Something Hanal said in a few slides that we went through before, where we must be clear about what it is that we want and not worry about how it's going to happen. In any given moment that we're in, you can be in a very bad mood, you can be frustrated, angry, etc., and instantly switch to in a moment of bliss and abundance, where you can simply think about and visualize what it is that you want and just focus on it. And again, don't worry about the how. The how will take care of itself. In doing this exercise enough times, where we are in the present moment, we don't try to force the outcome. We visualize and see what we want and go about our day. Over time, life begins to change. We start to see subtle changes, or it could be dramatic changes. But these quantum leaps, as discussed in Price Pritchett's book, The Quantum Leap Strategy, we begin to see that life instantly changes. Where just this quick change in perception, where we, in an instant, say, you know what? Creation is already done. What I want is already here. And it's just a matter of time before it manifests itself in my life. I am in complete faith that what I want will come true. And over time, it can. And whether a desire is realistic or not, that is up for you to decide. Now, obviously, you have to determine what it is that you ultimately want. But at the end, it all starts with putting ourselves in the right state. And this is something Tony Robbins discusses in a lot of his work, especially in his books, Awaken the Giant Within, Unlimited Power. That to achieve something, we must put ourselves in the right state, the right frame of mind. And this state, more than likely, is flow, where we're in the present moment and where challenge meets skill, where what we're doing is maybe a little bit challenging, whatever activity it is or goal we're trying to accomplish, but it's so wonderful because it pushes us a little bit and it helps us use all of our skills and abilities to accomplish this goal. And we're so immersed in what we're doing, we're really enjoying the entire process. A lot of athletes go through this, especially when they're practicing, I was a baseball hitting instructor for a period of time. And what I noticed with some of the best hitters is that the ones that performed the best on the field really enjoyed practicing. They enjoyed being in flow when they were in the batting cage or heading off the tee. They really enjoyed it. And they were just in the zone where they were totally focused on what they were doing. So we want to make flow a priority where we're in this state much more often, where we're in the zone. We're not worried about the future or living in the past. We're enjoying the precious, splendid present moment right now. And it's in the present moment where we're infinitely creative and where life reveals itself to us and where anything is possible in this present moment. To conclude, once again, to revisit Shakti Gawain, she says that let us imagine that life is a river. Most people are clinging to the bank, afraid to let go and risk being carried along by the current of the river. At a certain point, each of us must be willing to simply let go and to trust the river to carry us along safely. At this point, we learn to go with the flow, and it feels wonderful. Once we have become accustomed to being in the flow of the river, we can begin to look ahead and guide our course onward, deciding where the course looks best, steering the way around boulders and snags, and choosing which of the many channels and branches of the river we prefer to follow. All the while still going with the flow. Again, this is important to go over when it comes to flow. Shakti Gawain really hits it home here. Go with the flow. If we see we're in undesirable circumstances, don't try to force desirable outcomes. Accept what you're going through right now. Accept whatever conditions you're in. Acknowledge for what they are. Visualize a more desirable future and go about your day. And trust the process and not try to force it. But more importantly, and in Shakti's work, she discusses this in Creative Visualization and other books, the importance of trusting your intuition. Infinite intelligence is not just around us, it's within us. In one of her meditative exercises, she recommends that laying down or sitting in a chair and imagine this intelligence within you, this love within you, and communicate with it. Acknowledge where you are and communicate what it is that you want. Visualize it, see it. Impress upon it what you would like, and then go about your day. And you can revisit this exercise more than once throughout the day, preferably in the morning before you go to bed. But the point is here is that we don't want to force outcomes. This is what creates unnecessary struggle, frustration, and anger and fear. Acknowledge where you are and let go and surrender to this intelligence. And when we do this, we get out of our own way and we allow these higher mental faculties within us, this intelligence, to take over. And that's when we start acting on instinct. We get new aha moments or ideas that we didn't realize before. We take inspired action that we never thought of before, or we experience new opportunities or synchronicities or relationships that never occurred before. That can be life-changing. That can lead to quantum leaps. So to bring our dreams into reality then, it's best to get out of our own way and to go with the flow, to not try to force things and to live your life. And when you let go and surrender and get out of your own way, you will then be flooded with desirable circumstances and opportunities that will lead you to living the life you've always imagined. Thank you so much for listening to this lecture. And I'll see you next time. Take care.